Okay, today we're going to head a little bit different direction, and we're going to talk about the stages of awakening, what it feels like. What do you think you should be experiencing that maybe you are already and you don't know it? I'm going to use Carl Jung. Yes, I don't know a lot about him, but we're going to explore him further because there's some amazing information coming out about the final stages of awakening, and it's not what you think. So as we go through the big transition, we have to be focused on this. What's going on here? So I'm going to talk today about what Carl Jung said about the final stage of awakening because it isn't what you think. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. Here to help you break through fear. We're going to talk about that later on in the video. Stay tuned. I got something really special for you because getting through this critical time period is the whole reason we're here. And I'm going to help you to get through it and recognize the awakening state of being. We're going to talk about the final stage of awakening today, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not what you think it is. Carl Jung studied this for over 60 years. He mapped the entire journey of the human psyche. And what he called the final stage, most awakened people haven't even started it yet. I know. Oops. So we better get on our game here. In fact, most of them think they're done. They're not, and I'm going to show you exactly what he said. So let's talk about the map nobody showed you. Now, Jung didn't use the word awakening the way we do today. He was a scientist, a psychiatrist. He called the journey individuation, and he borrowed something brilliant to map it out. He borrowed the language of the ancient alchemists. Now, this is cool stuff. Now, stay with me here because this is not woo. This is actually where it gets fascinating. The alchemists were trying to turn lead into gold. Jung said, wait a minute, that's not what they were really doing. What they were actually describing in symbolic language was the transformation of the human psyche. From unconscious, that's the lead, to fully realized, that's the gold. And he identified 4 stages, 4 phases of that transformation. And here's what I want you to know. Most people in the awakening community are stuck between stage 2 and stage 3. So many of you have discussed these stages that are not what you expected. Let's go through them because once you see this map, you cannot unsee it. The 4 stages, what they actually mean. Stage 1, Jung call it Negrado. In Latin, that means blackening. And if you've been on a spiritual path for any length of time, you know exactly what this is. This is the dark night of the soul. This is when everything falls apart. Your old identity dissolves. Your old beliefs don't work anymore. Everything you thought you were, crumbling, just like the institutions out there and the 3D world that doesn't work. Most people think this is a breakdown. Jung said no. This is the beginning. This is the lead being broken down so it can become something new. This is good. So if you're experiencing this, yay! Stage 2, Albedo, the whitening. This is where light enters, clarity. You start to see yourself differently. I just talked about this recently, and you guys have shared with me that you're feeling like you're a different person. You discover your shadow, the parts of yourself you've hidden, repressed, denied, and you begin integrating them. This is where shadow work lives. This is where most spiritual seekers spend years, and it's genuinely beautiful. You start to actually see the shadow in yourself that you thought was great. You thought you were a wonderful person, and then you start to recognize it. And you become a different person. Now, here's where I want you to pay attention because most people in the spiritual community, most light workers, I don't like labels, but let's say light workers, conscious seekers, they reach a certain level of albedo and they think, I'm done. I've arrived. They feel the light. They feel the peace. They feel the expanded awareness, and they assume that that is the final stage. It is not. I'll bet many of you feel that. You're feeling the peace. You're feeling like this is it. Get ready. This is interesting because stage 3 is called Citrinitas, the yellowing, the dawning. Jung actually said this stage is often overlooked entirely. It's the bridge, the moment where illumination starts moving from the mind into the body, from the spirit into the physical. And most people blow right past it because they're still chasing the light of Albedo. And then there is stage 4. This is Rubedo. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Rubedo, the stage that changes everything. Rubedo in Latin means reddening. Jung named it after the color red, not white, not gold, red. And do you know what red is? Red is blood, red is life, red is embodiment. And that tells you everything about what the final stage of awakening actually is. Because here's what most people believe. The final destination of awakening is transcendence. It's leaving the world behind. It's becoming pure light. It's rising above the noise, the pain, the chaos of ordinary life. That's what they're aiming for. Carl Jung said, that is not the destination. That is Albedo, and if you stay there, you are incomplete. I find this fascinating. The final stage of awakening is not about leaving life. It's about fully returning to it. In Rubedo, Jung said the self, and he always capitalized that word, the self. The self is fully realized as the center of the personality, not the ego, not the spiritual identity you built in Albedo, the whole self, every part of you, your shadow, your light, your wounds, your gifts, your humanity, fully integrated, fully embodied, fully alive. He said the goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to become whole. Let me say that again because I want you to remember that. The goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to become whole. And wholeness looks different than what most people expect from awakening. It doesn't look like floating above it all. It looks like being fully present in it, moved by life, engaged with life, creating in life. We all thought it was going to that higher state and just poof. And now think about this. Source is everything. So we can't exclude anything in that final piece, that final stage. It makes sense. You're not transcending the human experience. You're becoming the fullest possible version of it. That's the goal of the game. Pattern interrupt, the quantum bridge. Now, here's what I find extraordinary about this. And this is where I want to bring in something that Federico Faggin said. You know, I love him. He's the physicist who created the microprocessor. Your phone, your computer wouldn't be here working if it wasn't for him. He spent decades studying consciousness, and he said something that stopped me cold. He said, you're not creating a new reality. You are rendering one that already exists. We don't have to create and put all this effort in. It's already there. It already exists. This is a guy who was a materialist, very unhappy, and had an amazing experience of light coming from his chest and connecting to the quantum field. And now he talks about this. This is what he studies. He said, you're not creating a new reality. You are rendering one that already exists. You're bringing it into existence. I'm going to teach you guys how to do all this. That is Rubedo in quantum language. In individuation, you are not creating a new self. You are rendering the self, capital S, that was already there underneath all the layers. The lead was never gold. You were just rendering it layer by layer, stage by stage. How many times have you heard me say, you're already that which you're seeking? It's everything that's layered outside of you that is the illusion. And when you finally recognize that, you come back to what you always were. The gems are in your pockets. Just reach in. They were always there. This is what the alchemists knew. This is what Jung decoded. And this is what quantum science is now confirming. The 5 signs you are in Rubedo. So how do you know if you're entering Rubedo? I'm going to give you 5 signs, and some of these are going to surprise you. Sign 1, you stop performing your awakening. In Albedo, there's often still an identity around being awakened, right? That's an identity. That's separation. Like I told you, calling yourself a light worker or a starseed, that's separation. You talk about it, you share it, you sometimes lead with it. In Rubedo, that falls away. You don't know who or what you are. You don't identify with anything. You're not interested in being seen as spiritual. You're just interested in being real. Do you feel it? Does this make sense? It's in my book. There are no names. There are no names in the other realms, the higher realms, because we're one. We don't have to be individuals. So sign two, you can be in the world without being consumed by it. This is the toughest part. It can be very depressing once you go into this state of awakening. This is the embodiment piece. Lower stages of awakening often require a lot of withdrawal. Meditation retreats, social isolation, protecting your energy. That's lower stages of awakening, okay? In Rubedo, you walk into the full noise of ordinary life and you are not destabilized. Pretty cool. You're anchored, not because you're detached, but because you're whole. You're impervious to it. This is, I told you guys, these, when you tell me you have dark entities attacking you, I say, not if you're in that state of awakening. It has no power over you. You can go straight into it and have no fear. Your shadow no longer frightens you, sign 3. You've done the work. You've met the parts of yourself you used to hide, and instead of managing them, you have genuinely integrated them. Your anger has become passion. Your fear has become discernment. Your grief has become depth. This is what Jung meant by turning lead into gold, the transformation, not the elimination. I always say break through fear. We don't eliminate fear. We don't get rid of it. We break through it. We go to another space. Sign 4, you start creating, not from inspiration, but from identity. This is a huge one. In earlier stages, creating, whether it's art, a business, a mission, a life, often depends on how you feel. Inspired today, blocked tomorrow. In Rubedo, you create because it is simply who you are. You get to create yours, and you know it is done before it is even visible. You're clear. You just create. You render it. You bring it into existence. You connect to it. Sign 5, you feel both the tragedy and the beauty of being human simultaneously. Yes, you will experience the tragedy. You will experience fear and sadness and all these other things that go along with being human, and you will realize how beautiful it is. This is the most difficult sign to describe, but if you've touched it, you know it. It's not happiness. It's not peace exactly. It's a full spectrum aliveness. You can grieve deeply and find beauty in the grief. You can hold the pain of the world and still feel profound love for it. Jung called this the tension of the opposites and their resolution in the self. That is Rubedo. That is the final stage. And you see the beauty in being human and you don't expect it to go away. So many of you, are you thinking, oh, it's going to go away. That's what awakening is. When's it going to happen? No, you go straight into being human and you recognize the beauty of it and you don't fight it anymore. It no longer controls you. So now if this is landing for you, and I think it is because you're still here, I want you to drop a comment. Tell me, which stage do you think you're in right now? Negrado, Albedo, or are you feeling the first whispers of Rubedo? Drop it below. I read every single one. And please subscribe and give this a thumbs up if you're getting value. It truly helps more people find this work. Now, I want you to leave with something important. This is the empowerment payoff. Because someone watching this right now is going to hear the word Rubedo and immediately think, I'm not there yet. I have so far to go. Well, let's be honest, that voice is the ego, and that voice has been wrong before. Jung did not map these stages so you could measure how incomplete you are. He mapped them so you could recognize where you are and trust the process of where you're going. The fact that you're in Negrado, in the darkness, means you have begun. The fact that you're in Albedo, doing the shadow work, integrating, awakening, means the gold is already forming. The fact that you're watching a video about Rubedo means something in you already knows it exists and something in you is already moving toward it. Nothing's in stone, and every stage is sacred. Every stage is necessary. It is not to be missed. Everything is important. Everything matters. Everything counts. The parents that didn't love you, the loss that you had, all of it is beautiful. It's purposeful. It's part of the entire journey. Don't try to escape it or call it wrong. Everything has divine purpose. I want you to remember this. The stage, the final stage of Carl Jung's individuation is not about leaving your humanity behind. It's about claiming it fully, all of it. The shadow and the light, the wound and the gift, the ordinary and the luminous. Does that help you maybe realize that being here isn't going to be so terrible once you know that you're not going to go to some perfect place and that if you don't experience that, you're not okay? You may be going there already. You're not here to transcend being human. You are here to become the fullest expression of what a human can be. Why? We came here to experience being human. We didn't come here to get out of it. We came here to know what it is in every form, from the lowest and the darkest to the light. That's our mission. Know it is done. If you would like to explore more of my recommendations of new earth products that are non-toxic, no plastic, no harm to animals, go down in the description. I have discounts for you, from toothpaste to cleaning solutions. And also, I have Breakthrough Fear coming out as a monthly membership, and it is absolutely going to blow your mind. I've been teaching this for a decade now with 5 stars, and it was quite an extensive course. I broke it down into 30-day increments, and it is an inexpensive membership that everyone can participate in. And the same teachings that people spent over a year and a lot of money in is now accessible to you. You can go down in the description and sign up. That is launching right now as I speak. I'm very excited about this because it's time for us to learn how to break through the fear, recognize it, not eliminate it, and live with it and be that human. Celebrate being human. Experience it, observe it. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste. I'll see you in the next video. We got even more good stuff coming. Please subscribe. Here's my book if you want to find out what's going on right now past the tipping point. I share all of it. A big download, one that you can access too. Namaste.